Number of people saying that the treat like him as a terrorist. He's not a terrorist.
They had to leave that country or they would be killed. Is unfortunate because I don't believe he was a terrorist.
Yeah.
He'd been in the country for a while now. Okay, and the state of California gave him a driver's license that they should have never given him.
If one person doing that fault, we cannot consider the whole community is doing that.
100% agree. But government also causes that problem of making things cost a lot more to live here.
ਦੋਸਤੋ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਮ ਸ਼ੋਮੇਕਰ ਨਾਲ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਦੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਰਿਪਬਲਿਕਨ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਨਿਭਾ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਨਿਭਾਈਆਂ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਔਜਲਾ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ, ਤੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਡੈਲੀਗੇਟ ਨੇ ਰਿਪਬਲਿਕਨ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ। ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਜਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਬਹੁਤੇ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਰੈਸਿਜ਼ਮ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਭਾਜੀ ਕੋਲੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਭਾਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਕਰਵਾਈ। ਅਗਲੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ, ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੋਰ ਟਰੱਕਰ ਵੀਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਉਸ ਅੱਖ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜਿਸ ਅੱਖ ਨਾਲ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਜੀ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਰੋਤਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਔਜਲਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਅਤੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਭਰੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਾਂਗਰੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰਿਕਟ 9 ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸੈਨੋਕੀਨ ਕਾਉਂਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸਟਾਕਟਨ, ਲੋਡਾਈ, ਮੈਂਟੀਕਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ। ਅਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੋਂ ਰਿਪਬਲਿਕਨ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਮ ਸ਼ੂਮੇਕਰ, ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆਫਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਕੱਤਰ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ। ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟਰੈਕਿੰਗ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਡਿਸਟਰੋਏ ਹੋਈ ਆ, ਇੱਕ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਮੋਲ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਡਿਸਟਰੋਏ ਹੋਇਆ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਡਿਸਟਰੋਏ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਹਰੇਕ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਪੇਸ਼ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲੀ ਵਗੈਰਾ, ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਸ਼ਿੰਗਟਨ DC ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ।
The main his was fault. He turned over at the wrong turn, so 3 persons are gone. That's very very sad incident.
Yes,
but there is number of people saying that the treat like him as a terrorist. He's not a terrorist.
No.
So there are number of incidents going on all the USA.
Yeah.
But why this incident is so highlighted?
I think right now this incident plays into the fact of what's happened prior to President Trump becoming president, that we had a period of time we had open borders, and so there's so many people in this country that are illegal. Yeah. That didn't come the right way to come into the country, that we don't know who they all are.
Some people's question is that he put the asylum, but there is if anyone put the application for asylum, is it illegal or legal? That's very confusing.
Yeah, it's well, see, and this is the thing. This is where there's this play on words. Asylum. Okay, well, what is asylum? I mean, were you being, when I look back, I'll go back. Let's go back let's go back 50 years.
Yeah.
And the Vietnam War. Oh. Okay? Vietnam. The United States supported the South Vietnamese. Now, I have personal friends that are Vietnamese. Very good friends. I have one that's as close to me as a sister. And in that, what I've seen is this. They had to leave that country or they would be killed.
Yeah.
And they escaped.
Yeah.
And the friend I'm talking about was lifted up to a Navy ship.
Yeah.
Her family was very well off in Vietnam. Yeah. And they would have been executed. Okay? That's asylum.
Yes.
Okay? Not just, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go to the United States because I just want to go and I'm going to do that. That's not asylum. And so we do have a challenge with our immigration policy. And I personally, for years, have argued against the immigration policy because it is so convoluted. It's hard to figure out what's going on. But you have administrations like our last one, the Democratic administration, that wanted to flood the country with illegal immigrants, to make a mess out of it. What people call this driver is unfortunate, because I don't believe he was a terrorist.
Yeah.
He'd been in the country for a while now. Okay, but he was illegal, and he came here illegally.
Yeah.
And the state of California gave him a driver's license
Yeah.
that they should have never given him. And driving a truck, because now I may be wrong, but my understanding is he never drove a car before either. Okay, I was told that. Now I don't know if that's true. Okay, but I'm just going to say, I was told by some people that run large trucking associations, and I've had a sit-down meeting with a gentleman right here in our county, and he told me the number of people that are illegally coming into the country who've never driven a car before, but are given commercial driver's license. Now, so this is not coming from me. I'm being told by someone that's in the industry running a very large nationwide trucking association.
So whose mistake it is if he has no any knowledge about the driving? Who gives
It's a state.
Yes.
No, it's a state. It is in the hands of the governor of the state of California and the state Democratic legislature, because they allowed that to happen. They allowed it. They need to be held responsible. He needs to be held responsible for his actions, but they need to be held responsible for the fact that they gave him a license to drive. Okay, so in the immigration process of what we're dealing with today, we need to clean up our immigration. We need to know who's here rightly, and who's here wrongly. And we need to clean it out. Because I have had someone that was illegally here run into my car 45 years ago. Okay, and they took off. My car was messed up. And they left. And it was like, okay, I'm paying for it, because I had to pay, my insurance covered part of it, but I had to pay for that. So, and I've had friends that have lost loved ones to illegal aliens. Yeah. So I don't want to pull any group separately. Every nationality has people that are a problem.
Yeah.
Okay? There's good and bad everywhere. Okay? We would like to let's get good people.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is a number of peoples, Punjabi peoples in the trucking, in the
Yes.
Indian people. They serving the all USA,
And they're doing a great job.
Great job. So
Yeah.
if one person doing that fault, we cannot consider the whole community is doing that.
100% agree. I agree. But understand this: the Democratic Party lives on dividing people. They're the ones dividing. They want to make it, the Punjabi people and the Hispanic people and the Mexicans and the blacks and the whites, and they like to put everybody in a category. I look at everybody as, well, I'm a Christian, and I believe everybody is born, we're all created equally in that way. Our Constitution of the United States, all men are created equal.
Everyone should obey the laws.
Exactly.
It's very important.
Exactly. And I will say, you are not going to catch me putting anybody into a category other than a criminal or a good guy.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's what we have.
We saw a number of incidents happening in the previous years, the looting of peoples. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's like I said, we have good and bad. No matter what, there's always that. And there's accidents all the time. I think with this instance, and like I said, we've talked about it just a bit before, but I think in this instance, what we've dealt with is, because this is falling into the immigration issue. Yeah. And that's where this is coming from. And it was we got cameras everywhere now. If there wasn't a camera in that truck, would we know anything about this today? Yeah. No. And that's where I think I see what's going on, and it's challenging, because at the same time, I don't want to see any more government regulations trying to micromanage an industry.
So there is also a problem if the number of persons are coming here, they take the work permit by taking asylum. If the number of truckers are gone out of this scenario,
Yeah.
so who will work for the country?
Well, there you go. I mean, what we're looking at right now, I'm going to say this. I remember Cesar Chavez here in California, okay, started the labor union for the grape pickers and everything. He used to go to the border and attack illegal Hispanics coming across the border to stop them, because he didn't want them to come into the country to drive the wages down of the workers. We are supposed to be a first world country. Our wages are going to be more than anywhere else because it costs a lot more to live here. But government also causes that problem of making things cost a lot more to live here. But at the same time, we need companies to value the employees that they have. And my thing was, when I hired people, I paid more than most other people were paying. I also got rid of guys that weren't doing the job. Yeah. And that's something we have to look at. We have these massive carriers in the trucking industry today. And I'm going to say, they like to say it's hard to keep drivers. Well, that's because they don't care about their drivers that much. Okay? And there's a lot of companies that are bringing in illegal drivers. Okay, well, I'm not going to say, I'll say illegal aliens, and I don't care where they come from. But they're bringing them in, they're putting them in trucks so that they don't have to pay them anything. Or they pay them so little that they're scared because they don't want to be thrown out. So they're threatened. So you literally have a slave mentality with people that have been brought in illegally. Now they're being used for their labor, which is slavery. And yet we have a Democratic Party, a Democratic governor that is supporting that mentality of giving licenses to people that are hurting those people that are working for them. And government, at the end of the day, likes to have large corporations because it's easier to control them than if you owned a truck, I owned a truck, and you owned a truck, and we both were contracting separately with a company. Because that's harder for them to control. But if I have 100 trucks, well, now they can control me easier. Okay? And just like going back to another subject, why does it cost so much? Because a trucking company has to replace that truck now every 200,000 or 300,000 miles because it's blowing up or burning up because of the smog regulations that they put on the trucking industry that don't work, that make the truck get less mileage, and there's some more cost to the trucking company. So government, at the end of the day, 98% of the time is going to be the problem with every industry or everything that we try to do. Because if we could bring government back to being locally here, I know what you need more than a guy in Washington knows what you need or how to help you. And that's what we need to do. We need to bring back that. And at the end of the day, our immigration policies need to change.
Yeah.
And as for me being in Congress, I would work on doing that. I would work on bringing back a green card program to bring in workers and labor, just like we do in California. They come out of Mexico or South America or other countries on the West Coast, and they could come in.
Yeah.
They get a card. They're here for 30 days, 60 days. They run the harvest. They go back to Mexico or South America.
That's true. If anyone who comes in the USA, he should legally process. The legally process is must. If he's coming in illegally, the number of sorrows in the Mexico borders.
That's
so
right.
That's the perfect point.
Yeah.
So today's now this incident taking a very long time period, like in the community is very sympathy towards 3 people who died in that incident, the very bad incident. If anyone want to help them, how can the help them?
You know, I will say I don't know if there's been a fund established yet to help that family.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it would be certainly something to look at because I don't know the status of what's happened with that family and what the consequences have been. But I don't know if the whole family was lost. I don't. I just know 3 people. That's all I've been told is 3 people perished in that accident.
Yeah.
And it would be certainly a great thing to help that family try to get through the challenging times. And I would think that probably Florida or somebody will release something on that. And later on, we could probably release something, or when we find when we find out what's going on. I think we need to look, because you brought it up earlier. This is not the first time, or even the last time, that we're going to have accidents that happen.
Yes.
And this is just me giving a guess, but I would assume there was probably at least a few other accidents that day that took the lives of some people.
Yeah.
And whose fault it was, whether it was a truck fault or a car fault, people have died.
But there is a number of cases there that potentially the trucker put on the people's truck, but that incident are not highlighted. The people's question is that, but this question, this incident is too highlighted.
Yes, and like I said, this goes back to the fact it was so public because of the footage, I think, and the fact that when the accident happened, it was blatant. You know, like I said, today everybody's got a camera.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, if I was driving a truck today, I would have a camera in my truck.
Yeah.
When I was driving, I will tell you some of the things that happened to me as a truck driver.
Yeah.
And watching people pulling in front of you, trying to get you to hit them, you know, to cause an accident so they could sue you. You know,
Yeah.
that happened numerous, and this is 40 years ago. So, I mean, nothing's really changed. You just have criminal people out there trying to cause problems.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those issues, especially, and the trucking industry's huge in that because you're a big target.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, Parminder, as we was discussing, this incident, we can say that we cannot blame the whole community. Yes, the whole community want to help that peoples that were that in the three peoples. So basically, community want to help them. So there is number of incident can be coming. They are blaming you did this, your people did this. This should not be.
That's right. I agree. I agree. And like I said, though, that to me goes back to the mentality, and I'm going to make it political because it is. The Democratic Party has been very adamant of dividing people.
Yeah.
And that's the bad part. We shouldn't be divided. We should be working together.
We should be in unity.
That's right.
If we are in a unity, for the progress of USA, for
That's
progress, United States, it's very mandatory.
100%. And that's what I would work for as a congressman, because just being a businessman, in all the things that I have done, I've had a lot of people work for me. I don't care. You could cover the globe with different people that I've had work, or I've worked with them. So, you know, it's like I said, we need to respect each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectly.
And then now, if you give me a reason not to, okay, well then I can walk away.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we need to know how to respect each other.
Yeah.
And we need to, you know, help each other in the ways that we can. And then, but respect is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, our Constitution says it right at the beginning. You know, all men are created equal, and that's what we have to live by. That's what our nation should be.
Yes.
But we have bad actors, and we have people that are trying to create problem with this.
Yes.
And I had someone send me something happened, I guess, in Southern California. You know, somebody got beat up with a golf club or something, I guess, you know. And I remember, you know, the frustration after 9/11, you know, in the Punjabis, you know, because you have the head turban, and they think you're Muslim. And so they're mad at Muslims. And I tell people, I said, you don't know, there's a difference. But you can't hold everybody to this, you can't blame everybody in the same equation here, you know. There's good and bad. And so that's what we need to get back to that. And that would be one of the biggest things. As me being a congressman or representative for this area, I would have staff and everybody that we would reach out to all the communities, because we're all in this together. We either have a great country or we don't. And I want a great country.
Yeah.
Because
Everyone wants.
yeah, and you know, and we are a great country. We've been blessed, and because of that, but we have people that have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
And I would rather have you raise your family the way you want to raise your family.
Yeah.
You know, and I look at that situation. That's another bad. Well, we haven't talked about that yet, but our families in the state of California. I mean, I don't want the state brainwashing my children when they're at school, telling them that they're, if my son's in school, telling him as a girl, or trying to transition them or do these crazy things. No. You teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, and hopefully some geography so we know where we're at. But outside of that, government has no business raising our children.
Okay, thank you, Jim,
So-
for your precious time to discussing with us.
Thank you.
Parminder, you want to say anything?
Yeah, we just want to thanks to Mr. Jim Shoemaker, and I like to be my Indian community, Punjabi community, South Asian, support him, and then he can take our, whatever the issues we in our community has, then that can be solved and everybody can live in a good life.
Yeah.
And that's all I have a
Well,
request him.
I'll say one last thing, and as I will have an open door policy at my office here in the district, and if we have to have more than one office, we'll do that, but we will have an open policy so that everybody has the opportunity to come and get help or voice their opinion, or at least talk to us, and talk to me. So.
And the question about one of the industries like a trucking industries and farming and small businesses gets destroyed, and everybody right now is in trouble. That's
Yeah.
the reason we want to ask you, if you become a congressman, and then what you will be do for these businesses. That's my question.
Okay. There's a few questions there.
Yes.
I think what we'd be looking at, and thank you for this time, is when you look at the last 20 years, especially in the state of California, we've been under one-party rule of the Democratic Party. Because of their legislation and the things that they have put through here, it has affected small businesses, it's affected our farming, our trucking, all our industries, our construction industry, and it's also affected our families greatly. That the Democrats want to, I say, rule us is what their intent is. By creating this chaos that we have today, they've taken away our liberties as individuals to make choices for ourselves. As a congressman, I would work to reverse those policies of what the Democratic Party has been doing over the last 15, 20 years here. Let's take the trucking industry. Diesel fuel, very expensive here in California. Yeah. Okay. Caused because we won't drill for oil here in California, and we're shutting down our refineries in California. So everything has to be shipped in. So that's a greater cost to do that than anywhere else in the United States right now. Because of fuel costs, that increases our food costs. Because to run the tractors and the equipment in the farms, that costs more money. Now at the same time, now your labor costs are going up to pay for that. So now we have inflation. All of this is caused by government. You and me, we can't create inflation. We can buy or sell something, but government prints money. And the more money they print, the higher they devalue the money we have. Yeah. So things cost more. These are policies that I think from a federal level we can do something about. Also within the farming community, we need water. Right now, California is refusing to give full allotments of water to our farms, which is affecting our crops. And we have many farmers within the Punjabi community that are being affected, but also throughout the whole Central Valley of California that's being affected. And the only way to fix that is through water storage and the delivery of water. But there's underlying things that the Democratic Party has allowed to happen in California that affects that also. And that is, right now in the Bay Area, they are allowed to dump raw sewage into the bay. And because of that, we have to send so much water down the delta to clean the bay out. Yeah. Okay? But this is a human-caused problem. There's no climate change involved here, okay? This is purely 100% human caused. So these policies that the Democratic Party has been pushing for all these years has caused the turmoil we have with small business, because small business needs energy. We don't have energy. Solar panels and wind is not going to supply the needs of the population of California. We need nuclear power. We need, clean energy, natural gas plants to be operating. And we need to have an abundance of electricity again to drive the price down, which then will help the mom and dad raising their families to be able to afford their energy and their food costs, because we can drive those costs down. But that only happens as if we change the policies from Washington, which I believe the current president, Donald Trump, is trying to do. But we have a governor in this state of California that's opposing these policy changes that would help the citizens of California. And I think from your questions on business, the only way to help business is to deregulate it, let individuals run their businesses. It's like a restaurant. There's so many regulations on a restaurant that you have government coming in and the cost is being driven up. At the end of the day, I do not want to kill my clients. I want them to come back. Yeah. So why would I poison them? Okay, but that's the mentality that Democrats seem to use, that, business is trying to hurt people. No, each one of us have businesses and we want clients, and the best way to do that is if I give a good product. So if I make my food good and people like my food, they're going to come back and eat my restaurant. Yeah. Why does government think they know better on how to run my restaurant? In the trucking industry, I was a truck driver, and I also owned my own trucking business. There's only so many areas that we can save money. Okay, it's that truck can run 24 hours a day, and the cost for insurance, maintenance costs, these are costs that will stay pretty much the same per mile that truck's driven. You have a driver, and what we're dealing with today, I don't know, maybe you'll ask me that question too, because what's going on today with this gentleman that was driving. These are the challenges that companies have trying to get drivers to drive for them. But I believe even in the trucking industry, you have people that are very greedy and don't want to follow the rules. Okay, and so in this case, we had an illegal alien that came into this country illegally, and the state of California gave him a driver's license. Now, my understanding is Washington also gave him a driver's license, the state of Washington. You are driving an 80, if you're fully loaded, you're driving an 80,000 pound missile down the freeway or the highway or wherever. No car is going to stop you. No pickup truck's going to stop you. You need to be in control, and you need to know what's going on at all times. And your equipment needs to be well maintained. And I'm going to say this. I blame government for a lot of the challenges that we have in the trucking industry today. Again, overregulation, But at the same time, even for this to happen, government let it happen. The governor of the state mandated illegal aliens to have driver's licenses.
Okay.
And that left each and every one of us at the mercy of this person who could do something illegal. What just happened today, or a few days ago, a family being killed because of a choice, a decision that driver made that cost the lives of 3 people. And yet he wouldn't have been on the road if the state of California didn't issue him a driver's license. And that's directly related to the governor of California and the Democratic legislature of California. I am sitting here just with you gentlemen here, and we are blessed with the diversity of people that have come to the United States to want to make the United States their home and become American citizens. But we also have bad actors that are coming here with not the intent to be good American citizens. We're the only country in the world that you can come to and become an American. And that's special. And when you look at that, it's I can't become Japanese. I can't become Chinese. I can't become Indian. We all have cultures. Now, my family goes back to the late 1600s in the United States when we were expanding and growing and doing all of that. Our founding fathers gave us a country that's so blessed that we need to honor what citizenship is and have that mean something. And so, and the greatness that we have is just like, I'm going to say between you two here, coming to this country to make life better for yourselves, and yet to be able to become an American citizen. And that's really important, I think, for all of us, because that makes the country better.
There is one